existed, but could not find it until he was right in front of me on the internet, and after calling out for him. So I took everything online I could. I even took the first 6 seasons of Paramashiva, and that's when I declared Sannyas.
Wow.
And I'm so blessed. So much has changed. He has healed me so much. I can't even, it's not just healed me, but healed my life, healed my relationships, healed in every aspect, totally transformed. People who have known me in the past, they don't even recognize my body, let alone me. So he's transformed me greatly, and I'm so thankful, so thankful.
Wow. Wow.
What I just thought of.
Can you share a little bit more?
Yes, go ahead.
About what exactly what feeling you've experienced. Sorry, Ma, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just asking, can you elaborate a little bit more about your background and your experiences with Swamiji, about what kind of healing you've experienced and how you, in every possible way?
Mm-hmm. Well, I grew up with, my childhood was filled with a lot of abuse, and I thought I had gotten away from it and moved beyond that when I went to university, but it still affected all my relationships, men and women, all relationships, all types of relationships. And then finally, when I was married, I realized that later on in the relationship that I had married someone that was maybe the culmination of all those negative relationships. And so there was a lot of wrong cognitions that I didn't even realize that I was operating with. And I had created a lot of pain patterns, a lot of pain shafts, suffering, and it affected my ability to manifest, my ability to even have consistent energy or consistent resources. Sometimes I had wealth, and sometimes I ended up in poverty again. So I knew there was something not right. But as soon as I found Swamiji and Sanatana Hindu Dharma and the ecosystem of Kailasa that protected me and strengthened me, then I started really having mature conversations with myself, and Swamiji really transformed everything. I became Devi again. I had gone through a lot, and I had sort of lost all that feminine side, the Devi side, even though I was a mother, and I had felt I was a good mother. There were things I could not control and things that I magnetized to me or manifested because of what I was holding within my inner space.
So can you elaborate a little bit specifically on those experiences where Swamiji has healed you and attended to you?
Yes. I realized not too long ago that what it really felt like to have an healed inner space, a healed heart, and melting down and clearing out all the pain shafts, pain and suffering shafts, because I was in a way doing it to myself, of course, but I was really blocked in terms of seeing how I was manifesting what I didn't want versus what I did want. So once I began having powerful cognitions and operating from conscious decision and conscious awareness in every moment, which I actually really became strong in from unclutching, doing the unclutching meditation, doing all the clutching satsangs and all that. But at first it was hard for me to even cognize unclutching. But when you unclutch or detach from all the thoughts, they don't control you anymore. You clear the inner space, and then you can create, manifest what you do want in the inner space through the powerfulness of the oneness with Swamiji. Because if all those pain patterns and pain shafts are there, that's blocking you from being in full oneness with Swamiji. And once that happened, I really started manifesting. I asked Swamiji to bless me with manifesting my reality auspiciously at will and others' reality auspiciously at will. And he said Tatastu, and then I actually started doing that. And the first few times I thought, oh, did that just happen? and then it became more and more constant, more and more consistent, more and more just being in the space of oneness and causing, enriching, doing everything for Swamiji and Kilasa and Sanata Hindu Dharma really facilitated that. So as I was manifesting my reality at will, I was also, especially you have the mirroring neurons too. So if you're in that space and you're powerfully manifesting through conscious decision, not, just going with the flow and being swung this way and that way by all your negative thoughts here and there and emotions and whatnot. Positive possibility.
You're sharing a lot about, your, yes, Mom. And so you've been sharing a lot about your experiences and how you've experienced healing. How do you think that, other women in your situation who have, experienced violence or trauma in their life, why do you think they need to connect to Swamiji? Why do you feel that they could, especially in a time like this when so much of suffering and so much of loss is there in the world, why do you think that Swamiji is needed for humanity right now?
Kalpataro and completion and unclutching, they all work together to undo the programming of the matrix world, the Maya. I didn't realize how I was programmed to, just give myself over, give my energy over, give my resources over, give my the control of my reality over. And once that block was cleared, I just kept facing everything that Swamiji brought in front of me to have healed and cleared. Never give up. Don't run away. Don't shut down. But I just dropped all my fear and anxiety and uncertainty at Swamiji's feet, and just strongly, in a mature way, faced every single thing that was brought for me to clear and heal and complete. Because the benefit is Swamiji, Paramashiva Parashakti, completes all incompletions, past, present, and future, and negative side effects. So you can create your new reality.
Absolutely.
So you can live that new reality.
Absolutely. would you say to all the viewers out there, you know, especially women who might have been in your situation or who have experienced, you know, similar situations as you? What would you say to them now who are listening? How would you, what kind of guidance or advice might you give them in their situation?
Don't give up and be strong to face what you need to face.
And how do you think that Swamiji would be able to help them in their situations? How he's helped you? How would you tell people to connect to Swamiji? How would you tell them about Swamiji's blessings and how they can be helped by Swamiji?
Well, there's so much. Where do I even start? The oneness capsules made a big difference for me. It's instantaneous. And the clearing of the karmas. I did the Nishaksara Shanti Homa at Houston and had a big, incredible shift after that. The pujas, giving gratitude. All the things that Swamiji provides, if you just go through the process and stick to it and don't give up, you will transform. You will receive all the blessings, all the healings, all the boons. In fact, I recently was blessed with a Akashic reading by Devi Parashakti, and it was maybe like 2 weeks ago, and all of a sudden on Friday I had received a couple little boons since then, but I received a big one on Friday. One of the boons that Devi Parashakti blessed me for happened on Friday. Wow, and everything that day was very auspicious. And I just kept being in oneness with Swamiji and making positive declaration and prayers for blessing as I went through each stage throughout the day to make it happen.
And how does it make you feel now when you're seeing, you know, Swamiji not just attending to you, but attending to every single being, every single person who is in need of a blessing or healing or a boon or, you know, even just a place to quarantine? How does it make you feel seeing Swamiji attending to every single person, you know, through the Akashic readings, through, you know, opening up the Adhinams? How does it make you feel?
It's incredible. He makes himself many, and that he's with everyone all at the same time. Different degrees, different levels, according to whatever is needed, but it is a real blessing. Even those that are yet to be in oneness with Swamiji, enriching them as well. Just giving everything that's needed so that humanity can break through this bondage and receive, enlightenment,
Absolutely.
which was meant to occur long ago, but is incredible that Swamiji is sacrificing everything to make sure we are all that want to be, want to rise up out of the Maya and to be enlightened are in that process of receiving that.
Absolutely. And you know, it's like so beautiful to hear your sharing and how you've experienced Swamiji and how he's attended to you exactly how you needed at that time. You know, every single person, maybe they might not even be interested in spirituality, but how Swamiji is attending exactly every single aspect of their life, every single thing that they need. It's such a beautiful experience, like, to hear about, especially, you know, hearing from you from where you came from and to where you are now, you know, taking Apat Sannyas and, you know, deciding to commit your life to Sangha and Swamiji. It's such a beautiful sharing that you've given us today.
Thank you, Ma. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Everyone does. in facilitating Swamiji's mission.
Welcome back, dear viewers. Today, we have joining us Ma Aishwarya Murli from India, who is here to share her experience of Devi Parashakti Akashic reading. Nithyananda Ma Aishwarya.
Nithyananda Ma.
Nithyananda Ma, thank you so much for joining us for the live sharing today. So what is it that you are here to share with us?
Yes, so actually, Ma, I have been seeing the Devi Akashic readings. They've been happening for around a month now. And I was attending it and I became a member of the channel, YouTube channel, so that I can post just something. Even though really I had nothing as such, I felt even like asking to Devi. I still wanted to just say present, so every day I will just say something in the chat, right? And I saw, okay, Devi is really like ferocious, that she's really coming very direct and telling everything without beating around the bush at all. Okay, so in a way, I was a little bit like intimidated about that. Of course, she's mother, so there's no incompletion, but it's just like, oh God, what is she going to expose about me to me now, right? So, but still, even then, I was just doing it simply, whatever, like just putting my presence there every day. And then after a point, I was like, but Devi is not responding to, that thing of taking your name and addressing you, it gives a completely different feeling altogether. So I was really craving for that. And I was like, what is happening? Why? What is this? What's going on that I'm missing this? Right? And then just a few days ago, Swamiji came and gave a live satsang after so long. And he gave this instruction and said that even if Devi is, doing boo-boo and frightening you and everything, she is only doing absolutely right for you. Don't be frightened about if she speaks, she scolds also, don't bother about it. The only thing is, if she should see you and she should see your message and respond to you, that's what matters. She will sort out what needs to be sorted out, but you just be addressed by her, which is exactly what I also wanted. So Swamiji told this too simple, means baby level simple instruction, saying to keep the betel leaf and betel nut and 1 rupee coin, 1 paisa coin actually he was telling, right? And keep a banana. So very basic tambulam, he's saying just receive Devi ritualistically. Okay. So I said, okay, fine. Obviously, there is this part, which says, how is it connected? I know Swamiji is here. He's literally manifesting in this presence. His presence is here now. This is real, right? That they're meeting at this. It's not like it's a screen and something else like that. But somehow, even then, it was very difficult to really fully comprehend how is this keeping this betel leaves going to actually connect to Devi giving the response. Anyway, my questions will keep coming. So main thing is you do what Guru says, right? So I ordered it got some betel leaves. And the next time that I attended the Devi Parashakti Akashic reading, I kept the one small plate. And I just rushed and kept some betel leaf. I got it from my fridge and kept it. Got some 2 rupee coin and kept it on that plate. That's it. Such a zero level preparation actually. It wasn't even some big preparation that I did. It was what Guru told, that much only I did, right? And exactly that day, Devi responded to me. After 1 month, I'm waiting for. After 1 month of me waiting and craving and saying, please, suddenly the very same day that I did this, she took my name, she responded, she addressed me as I wanted. And basically the idea that she'll say something scary is more scary than whatever she'll say. Because what she'll say is actually very sweet. Like if you connect with her, she's speaking to your cognition, basically. So it's very intimate conversation she's having at that moment, and it's very direct, and it's like how if your mom talks to you, you won't even have this idea that, oh, she's scolding or she's intimidating and all these big theory words. You'll just be like, yeah, she's telling something, I'm listening, and we're just sitting together and having this moment. It was literally like that. And how did this great blessing happen to me? Because my guru told, keep beetle leaf, and I just, without listening to my logic, obeyed and just did it and kept it. And immediately, the very same session, that moment, she's answering me. It was such a beautiful happening. If anybody is listening to this, the big takeaway is more than even how happy and beautiful I felt from Devi answering. Genuinely, what's more powerful for me is that decision to listen to what Swamiji told, immediately paying off. That's what really struck me, because obviously for so many years being connected to Swamiji, every time I've listened to him, good has happened to me. This moment is so unique because it happened immediately, like without any time gap. Also, it just immediately happened. So that is what really was the most beautiful part of this whole experience for me.
So beautifully shared, actually, Aishwarya. So whenever we listen to Guru work, I am doing it just because my Guru is saying. You will just see so many things just happening so auspiciously, immediately things manifesting in your life. Just this one cognition. I am doing it because my Guru told me. Right? Your logic may go with it, may not go with it, whatever, doesn't matter. I am doing it because my Guru told me. Just that one cognition is enough for you to have everything you want in life, and ultimately Jivan Mukti, ultimately enlightenment itself, just this one cognition. I am doing it because my Guru told me. Very beautiful, Aishwarya. And this is actually one thing that Swamiji has told. For those of you who missed that satsang, just when Swamiji was explaining in the satsang about how to receive Devi Parashakti, Swamiji said, just have a plate with a beetle leaf and a beetle nut and some like 2 banana and a small dakshina, a coin. It can be a 10 paise coin or a $25 coin, doesn't matter, some coin. And just offer it to Devi. And after the Devi Parashakti Akashic reading is over, you can consume that, keep it separately, so that once it significant amount collects, you can send it to the LA temple as your Dakshina, the temple in Los Angeles. So beautifully shared, Aishwarya. As soon as, see, so many of us are here. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I request you to do comment on the YouTube channel. How many of you are really waiting for Devi to answer your question? You are really waiting. You so much are like every day you comment, post question. I just want Devi to call out my name. I really want Devi to respond to me. I want Devi to connect with me. I want Devi to Parashakti to answer my questions. I want the Cosmic Mother to just call me daughter. I just want the Cosmic Mother to call me son. I just want her to tell me that she is there for me. Something we will have. Somewhere we want her to acknowledge our presence. We want us to acknowledge her presence in our life. We want her to acknowledge our presence in her life. I just want Devi to call my name. I just want to hear how it sounds when Devi calls my name. What kind of experience I get inside of me. So many of us have this intense yearning. So all you need to do is simple. Just get 2 beetle leaf, 1 beetle nut, 2 banana, and a $25 or some coin. Just keep it in a plate. And just sincerely, Swamiji said, all these, without these rituals, it becomes an unconscious act. So when you actually do the ritual, every time you bring back that emotion, you bring back that bhava to connect with Devi, and you feel that she is real. That is what happens when you do these rituals. So these rituals are to break the monotonous, unconscious. At some point, you just keep seeing the screen. You just take it for granted. You don't realize that, what Devi is actually landing from Kailasa. Being from Kailasa is coming and she is calling my name. Imagine in the whole Prapancha and in this world of 7 billion people, your name gets called. When Devi Parashakti lands from Kailasa, she acknowledges your question, she answers. How does it feel? It feels so special. You feel like, Brahmanyam Bahuputratam. I am the favorite inheritor of the cosmos. I am her favorite. She called out my name. She called me daughter. Whatever it is, however she connects with you, you just feel that love. You just feel that warmth. You just feel that affection and that grace of Devi Parashakti. So beautifully shared, Ma Aishwarya. Anything else would you like to share?
Yes, Ma. Literally, this is something which is incalculable because it is too small in action. I was sitting in the same way, cleaning my room, preparing the space in the same way. Only thing different I did that time was what Swamiji told, keeping these items, few ritualistic items. That's it. I did different, and it actually made such a big difference in the what happened, and even in the way I was receiving it. Like, it was so much more intense that I was receiving, with like tears dripping down my face. It was so powerful, and the action, actually what it did is no way proportional to the result which it actually brought. So definitely, like, when we get these kind of small instructions, especially, let's jump into it and do whatever Swamiji tells. It's so fun and it works. It literally works.
Beautiful, Ma. Thank you so much for sharing, Ma Aishwarya. Thank you so much for coming live and sharing your experience today. Thank you.
Nithyanandam, thank you.
Nithyanandam.
Welcome back, dear viewers. My name is Manitya Purnapriyananda, and I'm a Brahmacharni of the Nithyananda order. So today we will be entering into one of the most exciting segments of our show. It is where people will share their personal experiences of Devi Parashakti. Every day, Swamiji is attending to devotees, disciples, and all beings through Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and all our platforms, and making himself available to humanity to give blessings, boons, and heal every being who is suffering and in need of healing during this pandemic. Today, we have two exciting sharings available. One, we'll start with Ma Gayatri, who is from Canada. So, Ma Gayatri, can the NTV operator please project Ma Gayatri? Thank you.
Nithyananda, thank you for having me here.
Welcome. So you can please share a few words about yourself, about who you are and how you met Swamiji.
Sure. Actually, thank you for bringing me here because I've never met Swamiji ever. And so this is really interesting that the first time I actually visited the Ohio temple was in 2015. And that's how my association with Swamiji kind of started.
Wow.
It's crazy. And I've just been very blessed because somewhere along 2018, I really got connected to more people in the Sangha. And since then, I've always been connected to people with Swamiji, and I just feel like that connection just grows stronger. And Swamiji has been very, very kind and benevolent that every time I've sort of needed help in life, he's just sent angels my way, and they're all, giving me his teachings and really enriched me and helped me, grow stronger with getting powerful cognitions. And my Deborah is also there. She's also been one of those acharyas who's really been very kind and benevolent with me, and really helped me have powerful cognitions and really have a shift in life in general. So that's how my association with Swamiji started, and just grew stronger from there. And recently what happened was I saw Devi. First of all, I would like to mention that Swamiji has been so kind. I mean, at a time where, you have countries closing borders, you have everybody sort of shutting their homes. Nobody wants to have anybody in the vicinity. Swamiji has so kindly opened up his entire Adinam to anyone without looking at their gender, caste, creed, nothing. You don't even have to be a devotee, And Swamiji has so generously opened his doors and allowed everybody to come in. And not only just that, he's providing them hospitality, food, everything possible. I mean, that at this point, no government is also doing that, so I would just like to share that Swamiji is doing something that's amazing, and it's really incredible. And especially at a time where people are being so hesitant to help each other out, Swamiji is really, really, a beacon of ray of hope for humanity in general.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's the only hope for humanity.
Yeah, and it's incredible that he's making the effort to protect everybody. So I just want to share that. And just to talk about my sharing with the Devi blessings, which is why we're here, it's actually kind of sweet because I did get a tatastu from Devi a couple weeks back, and I saw, and Devi was so kind and benevolent, and she gave me a tatastu. But there was somewhere I kind of wanted, obviously I'm being greedy here, I kind of wanted Devi to have a conversation, because I was like, Devi, you're calling everybody Chalamagale. I'm like, what about me now? So I literally was nagging everybody who would listen to me, saying like, how do I get, attention? And so actually Manyanatma was like, why don't you try to go via the kailasa.com, the kailasa.org, the website. And so I was so genuinely grateful, because not only did Devi bless me for what I asked for, but she went above and beyond and, gave me so much more. I was not even thinking about the things that she blessed me. I was not even thinking of asking for that. I had written an essay to her, like, I want this to. But, she gave me, she knew what my heart wanted. And it was like, literally like someone had just got into my heart, seen everything what I wanted, and just given me the answer that I needed to hear. It was just like someone had read everything that I needed to hear. And so sweetly.
And how did that make you feel, Ma?
I was beaming. I couldn't stop. I have the recording, which I keep looking at. I've been like non-stop, constantly just playing it back and forth. And I'm like, okay, this is just great, because as you can see, I'm really smiling, and it was just amazing. And, it was just such a beautiful blessing. And it was so benevolent, and I was so grateful. And there was just this beam of light and joy that was radiating, and I was just so grateful to even feel that energy. I was exuberant. Because I was like,
absolutely. I mean, you can just tell from the way you're speaking and how much you're radiating the excitement and happiness and peace that you're having. It's so clear from the way you're speaking. So can you share a little bit more about, Devi has attended to you personally in every single aspect, even what was unasked from you. She has attended to you. She has blessed you. She's given you all of the boons and healing that you were looking for without you even realizing it. So can you share a little bit about how you felt when you heard Devi, Swamiji, attending to every being, every person, every day in, day out, nonstop, how you felt hearing that, making Swamiji, how Swamiji has made himself so available to humanity to heal them, bless them, and give them anything they need during this time of crisis.
Exactly. That is one of those things that's very, that's very kind and benevolent of Swamiji, because he is just so merciful, because example for me, I have never seen Swamiji in person. So it's not like I've even attended the IA programs or any program for that matter. I've only attended the online programs, and I have not really done anything great to even be receiving this boon, to be honest with you. Like literally, so when Swamiji attends to people like me, I think that's incredible, because he's not just doing that to people who are in the Sangha, but he's just extending himself above and beyond to everybody. And not just that, it's also very individualized. It's personalized to what people want. It's not just a general blessing saying, okay, it's exactly what people need to hear. And the blessing also comes, I feel, with a healing, which is so much with his, when he takes your name, I feel like you're healed, he's beautiful when he says that. And I just think that I just have gratitude because words are failing me to describe what he's doing. But the only thing I can say is I just have immense gratitude, and I just have love and gratitude for Swamiji, because I don't know what else to say, because he's just so merciful and benevolent,
Absolutely. And it's really beautiful to hear that you've never met Swamiji, you've never done a program, but Swamiji knew exactly what you needed and exactly how to attend to you and exactly how to give you the blessings that you want, and even what you did not ask, he gave. And it's such a boon and blessing to have Swamiji in your life, and how he's not doing that just for you, but every single being, every single person who's in need during this crisis, during this time of the pandemic, when no one else, like you said, no one else is there attending to people. Swamiji is not only attending to people physically, but spiritually and emotionally, in every single way that they could possibly need. And it's just such a beautiful thing that you've never really actually met Swamiji in person or really done any kind of program. So
I know, and I was surprised, because honestly, I was not expecting, because I'm just not in the inner. I was like, wow, Swamiji did, and it's not just this. It's like every time I'm upset or in any sort of need of spiritual help or emotional help, I've always had people come and heal me through Swamiji's teachings. And he's just kind of built a beautiful ecosystem for people to raise each other up. And I feel like for that, I'm very grateful, because especially in today's times, where so many people are going through so many mental health issues, I think Swamiji is building Kailasa for creating a beautiful ecosystem like that to help raise each other up, So for that, I'm very grateful.
Absolutely, Ma. Yeah. And can you share a little bit about your background and your maybe a little bit about yourself and your career, and etc.?
Sure. So I'm a Tamilian, and I'm from Bombay, but I was raised in the Middle East, actually. And my background is actually in fashion. I did my master's in New York, and I was working in fashion in New York. And I recently moved to Toronto, and I actually moved in the middle of the pandemic, which is why I'm grateful for the ecosystem, because that's kind of when, in 2020, was when I really connected with other people, and really with the Canadian Sangha, to say. And it was really amazing, because up until then, I only had a few friends in the Sangha who kept me integrated to Swamiji. But when I really came to Toronto was when I got really integrated. And so my background has been mostly in fashion. It's got nothing to do with anything with spirituality. Obviously, I was raised in a typical South Indian upbringing. So I was, I knew all the prayers, and I knew Bhagavad Gita and Vishnu Sahasranamam, but I never really knew the aspect that Swamiji teaches is also very practical. The things like completion, the things like, they really change your life. It's not just chanting mantras, but it goes above and beyond that, and that I didn't have in my life. I did have spirituality, yes, because I've always kind of been spiritual, but I've never really, in my background as a career, did not have any spirituality in it,
Absolutely.
And I always felt a void because of that. So I was very grateful, because Swamiji not only really gives you the spiritual aspect, but it's very practical. It's basically unlearning so much of the conditioning that the society puts in, and I didn't know that I had these conditioning even, so I was like, whoa, I just did the Paramashiva program recently, and I have 4 books of completion to be done. But that's the load that the society kind of puts on you, and we don't realize that. For the longest time, I was unaware of my patterns even, and this way, I feel like Swamiji really gives you the tools to kind of grow so much more than, and it's like spiritual therapy. I always feel like I'm in a I'm in therapy, but like it's spirituality. Like Swamiji kind of infuses both, and it's great. And it's so useful, especially in today's time when people are going through so much of stress and so many things going on. It's not just one aspect of life. So I feel like that's just where I really connected with Swamiji.
And that's really beautiful to hear that, you don't have necessarily a very, a career that's focused in spirituality, or you don't necessarily have, you've maybe not even had a guru before this, I don't know. But it's really beautiful that you living in New York, living like a fast-paced lifestyle, being in the fashion industry, I'm sure you would never think that someone like you, so young and so, living in like such a modern lifestyle would have such a connection to Swamiji and feel that his teachings are applicable in their life, and are able to relate with Swamiji and apply his teachings. And why, I just wanted to ask, for you being, so young and living kind of a very different lifestyle than you would think of someone, in spirituality. Why do you think someone, why do people need Swamiji in their life? Why do you think that people need, especially during this time, during the pandemic, when, spirituality, people might feel like that's a, secondary issue for them. Why do you think that they need Swamiji in their life? How do you think he can attend people?
I'll say this, I mean, even though I didn't have a guru or anything like that, I come from a really religious background, because I'm an Iyer. So like I learned all the Bhagavad Gita, the Vishnu, all the religious aspects of it. And I think what happens is most people think spirituality is just basically chanting a bunch of mantras and like, going to the temple every day, and that's about it. And, being close-minded is kind of what they box it in. But what connected me with Swamiji specifically was it was more than that. It was teaching you the concept of Hinduism in a way that is really authentic, yes, but also in a way that, it makes you question. It's not just about by-hearting a couple of things. It's actually understanding the essence behind it, Like I've been chanting Bhagavad Gita since I was a kid. I never knew the essence of the 15th chapter, When I heard Swamiji, when I heard them translating during the Maheshwara Puja, I was like, wait a minute, this makes so much sense. That, I had heard my parents, like my dad, saying Advaita, but as a child, that concept itself is very far-fetched. I didn't understand it. So Swamiji kind of breaks it down and like spoon feeds it to you in a way that's digestible. That's how I would put it. I was in pain, and I've had chronic pain for over a decade at this point. And if you go to a doctor, they're very quick to give you all kinds of medicines. And I used to have a lot of pills, but what Swamiji really tells is like, he kind of points out where the pain is really coming from, and that shift nobody gave me, and for those things I'm grateful for, because it's not just about it's more than just religion. It's more than just, it's a way of living, and that itself is beautiful. It's not about it being religious in a sense. It's so much more about being spiritual and understanding your life, every aspect of your life. It's just like how we think, how we eat, how we sleep, like, all of those things. It just helped me. It pointed out a lot of my patterns, which were giving me pain. And actually, some of them, I remember the first time in 2018 when I was going through a sort of crisis in some sense. I had a friend from the Sangha. Actually, he's a really good friend now. He was body scanning me, and he was like, oh, you have these patterns. And I'm like, what do you mean I have these patterns? Like, what are you talking about? Because I didn't know anything about body scanning. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because this is just someone I met on Facebook. And I'm like, he's telling me about things that happened to me when I was 6. And I was like, wait a minute, how do you know this? But, it's things like that. And they're so powerful because Swamiji really, really gives you the tools. It's not just teachings. He gives you the tools for each and everybody to kind of clean out the mess that the society sort of drills into you, you know, and really sort of helps you navigate life on another level and on another level of bliss, I would say. I mean, it really, I think he beautifully guides you through every step of the way, you know, to be able to achieve that. Maya, you're muted. I can't hear you. Maya, you're muted. I can't hear you. Yeah.
I was just saying, it's exactly what you were saying. He gives both the theory and the technique to live your entire life.
Yeah, exactly. Like completion, you know, like completion is a great process. I think everybody should be taught of that in school. You know, we don't have that, but we should be taught completion. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ma, for your beautiful sharing.
Thank you.
I think all the viewers really enjoyed everything you were sharing. So
when we're waiting for Sonali to come live and share her experience, if you are somebody who received your Akashic reading, and if you would like to share your experience live on Nithyananda TV, you can email us at contact@kailasa.org. Send us an email, just give a gist of what was your experience, and then we will be more than happy to have you join the live panel. Okay, now today we have Sonali Gupta. Nithyanandam, Sonali.
Nithyanandam Ma, thank you for having me here. It's my pleasure to share my experience about what changes and transformation Devi has brought in my life. And before I go into the experience I had from the recent Akashic readings, I want to share that Devi has been like a very transformative force. Like she's always been someone that I connect to so deeply that, you know, I have done completions and I've done so many things, but with Devi, like with her grace, it just opens like floodgates. So before I share what happened recently, right, like last year, during one of the Paramashiva programs, during a Devi Darshan, I was intensely praying to her, and she gave me courage. She, you know, and I thought like there's one thing that I've been putting off on was to kind of become a Sarvanyapita Yajaman, and I pledged during that darshan that, you know, I will make it happen. Like I'll just do everything possible to make that happen. And within 15 days of that, I worked through my incompletions, they surfaced, but I kind of took the jump within 15 days of that darshan, and I actually made a jump into Sarvanyapita Yajaman. And of course, that was a great blessing, right? Not to say like, you know, Devi definitely blessed with a lot more than what I could offer. You know, it's her grace and compassion is so good. And very recently, during these Akashic readings, I had submitted my questions, but, you know, like everyone else, I wasn't sure if Devi was going to answer and if she's ever going to answer my prayer, but I was just tuning on to the session, listening. And I'd submitted my questions a few days ago, not even on that day, but it was my birthday on 28th of April. And as soon as Devi kind of said the first few sentences, I heard my name as the very first name. And just hearing that, I, of course, did not understand the language, but just hearing my name and the energy, it was like I knew something was shifted, like it was just something was taken care of. And I did not know what Devi said, but it was amazing. And I was just absorbing that and just trying to figure out like what that meant and what was the shift. And I was just totally enjoying that space. And then the very next day, when the Akashic readings happened again, the readings had started and I just posted my question casually. I wasn't even, at that point, I thought, you know, I'm probably already late. But Devi again, within a minute, she answered me again. And she gave me this very beautiful blessing of saying, I'll reside in you as Alam Velar Siddha. And that just took me to another level. I've always thought that, you know, Guru Bhakti and connection and what that means. But with that blessing, I kind of, I just felt like this new dimension of me open up. I almost feel like I can experience what Guru Bhakti is. I actually kind of know from a different plane altogether what that connection is, and it's beautiful. I'm just enjoying that space, and now I'm looking to, of course, there are many things we always ask for boons and all, but the space is kind of such that I know that whatever I ask for or whatever I have, like her compassion is so much that she can actually grant anything. And that's something I wanted to share with everyone.
So beautifully summarized, Sonali. And Sonali, actually, first of all, wanted to thank you for contributing and supporting Kailasa as a Sarvanyapita Yajaman. And what aspect of you, like what is it that you really connected with in Kailasa and Swamiji's mission that made you take this jump to contribute towards this divine cause? What was that in you specifically that made you decide, yes, I need to become a Sarvanyapita Yajaman, I need to support and I need to contribute to this divine cause?
Yeah, I think the very, very first thing that kind of clicked with me was when I attended my IA in December 2016. That was my very first connection where I really kind of met Swamiji and attended a full 21-day program with him. At that time, there was a full day on, how Swamiji has been contributing towards Sanatana Hindu Dharma and everything that he's been trying to do. And the fact that, he mentioned that he's just here to make a statement to the world that Sanatana Hindu Dharma is real. I think that one sentence struck me and that just stuck with me forever. And I always wanted to stand up for his mission and do something in whatever small way we can, right? I think it's also Swamiji's way of making us realize our true potential, right? We, as so many people have said before, you cannot really give to him. You can only get showered, but it's about taking that action and standing up for and saying yes, right? Saying yes, that I want to stand up for it. And that's what I wanted to stand up for. And I want to continue doing more and more, right? So Devi has shifted me to a space where I really think that, that I can feel that the real purpose of life is to really kind of continue to give and continue to just do whatever I can for this purpose and this mission of Swamiji's.
So beautifully shared, Sonali. Thank you so much for coming live and sharing. And let me ask Pranaprema if you would like to have ask Sonali anything.
Yes, I just have one question for you, Sonali. First of all, thank you so much for coming live for our viewers. And I just wanted to know, what was the space shift that you had after you became a Sarvanyapita Yajaman? What was your cognition shift that you had about wealth and abundance? Because it's not like everybody has that wealth ready-made to offer it. It is the space that you carry. And with Swamiji's blessings, once you create the space, he manifests through us. So what would you like to tell our viewers? What was the space shift that you had when you manifested Sarvanyapita Yajaman?
Yeah. So for me, the biggest space shift was from being this person who was kind of insecure and trying to hold on to the wealth, thinking that it will be used for something, and kind of having that insecurity or fear inside me that would prevent me from taking that jump, and the fear of being judged, and fear of what will people think, and am I crazy? Like with that, from moving from that fear to actually moving to a space where I am. Where I don't really, where wealth happens, but I don't feel very attached to it. I think that has been the biggest shift for me. I don't have to worry about wealth. I don't have to think about it. It's just another thing in my life. It's not something that I worry or fear about.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much for joining the show today. It was really inspiring how you are holding Swamiji and his mission and how you're supporting it. Really, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Ma.
Thank you, Sonali.
So joining with us today, we have Nithyananda, who has been Swamiji for a very long time, because actually since the time she's one of the blessed beings who got to witness the leelas of how the supreme pontiff of Hinduism worked one at a time, and built Kailasa from the scratch. And she's one of those blessed beings who got to be there, live around Swamiji, personally see the hard work that Swamiji put in, personally first-hand experience of witnessing all the leelas, all the hard work and everything Swamiji put in, all the tyaga, the sacrifices that Swamiji put in to build Kailasa. And she is the Mahant of Kailasa in Ohio. And she's here joining with us today to share her experience of Devi Parashakti's Akashic reading and her experience with Swamiji. Nithyanandamma.
Nithyanandamma, am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, you are. And would you like to start with introducing your name, where you're from, and also how long you know Swamiji for?
Yes, Ma, it's a pleasure to be here sharing with you all. I've known Swamiji from 2004, and it's not a long time for me. It's like a lifetime, you know. So such a pleasure journey, and it's practically experiencing the living enlightenment. That's how I feel. And he takes you through all steps. I know where I started from and where I am now. And practically every step of the way, Swamiji guides you. And whether you are close by him, whether you're living next to him, or you're so 10,000 miles away or miles away, his energy guides you. That is my experience. I am in Ohio, Kailasa, Ohio. It's a beautiful temple gifted by Swamiji. It is the first temple that was gifted to the humanity outside India. So we are and the deities there, the main deities, Nithyanandeshwara and Nithyanandeshwari, are practically carved by Swamiji. He himself.
Wow.
So it is just when I see him, or even when the people see him, they literally see him there and his energy there. It's the Master's presence is there. Even today, even now, it is there. It's been 15 years, the temple open, and it is on a beautiful river base, and Shiva is sitting. It's a sight to see how, and the time when at that time the mission was forming, so we had it's like almost like it's a Devaloka event. That time when Swamiji inaugurated, still some people say that they cannot forget that how they were. Practically, I felt like I was floating on the air.
Wow.
It was like that, and with the serene looking, and such a beautiful thing. So, we have come a long way from that. All of us have grown who stayed with Swamiji, especially I feel like I have experienced how as a human being, I have grown from all the what do you call the samskaras, or your incompletions, or whatever your patterns, and step by step how he took us as a Nijavatara. It's like living with Krishna now. Living with Krishna.
Absolutely.
Yes, and how in those days I read that how people will feel Krishna no matter where he was. That's how it is. We can be living in US, but still everything is happening for us here, it's as a temple. And the temple, I was born and raised in the temple environment. My parents owned a 100-year old temple, but I did not know the context and also how to live with that. Temples are Swamiji taught us that the temples are the base.
Nithyananda, sorry, Ma Shivananda, just sorry, Ma. I think your audio is going a little softer. If you could be a little bit more louder.
Okay.
If you can just talk a little bit more closer to the mic or a little bit more louder, everyone will be able to.
Can you hear me now, Ma? I increased the volume.
This is a little better, yeah.
Okay. So, temples are our base for enlightenment. When we go to the temple, we feel that we are living with the living entities. Deities were just when I used to go to the temple, I go and pray and come back. But not now like that. They're just living entities. It's only Swamiji taught us that. All that, and now it is Akashic reading. Swamiji has Devi and he is answering all questions. Mom, what else do we want in this life? Right?
Wow.
True. Telling us what to do, how can I lead my life? And he gives you the strength to go through. And a lot of people, especially in the coronavirus time. And he took us through last year. The whole virus time, we didn't even know how it went. 3 months lockdown, nobody knew how it went. Sitting in front of the computer, he took us through some process with Paramashiva. So now it is the Akashic reading, and he's giving us solutions to what is happening. Devi is such a compassionate being, Madhuri. Recently, I want to share one thing. We have a small volunteer group here and maintaining the temple, and we have devotees, but the volunteer group is a smaller group. And then we have huge deities coming to the temple. And I'm thinking, how am I going to make it happen? We want to do like Kumbha Abhishekam, and how can we make it happen? I was like almost, then I said, why should I fear? I should ask Devi for blessing, right? So I write to Devi, and I don't even know whether Devi will answer. I was just praying. And sure, Devi answers, and I don't know whether you all saw it, such a big blessing. When I got that blessing, something like I had so much energy. I don't know where it came from. All that energy, I can do this. Make it happen. See, like Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, you do the work and I'll make it happen. I'll take care of the results, right? That's literally happening in our lives. I'm sure you all experienced. I am experiencing through temple. So you just have to say yes. And I have been saying yes to Swamiji whenever he gives me and that is what expands me every time. I share with the volunteers how when you say yes to the master, how it expands you. And he takes care of everything. You don't need to worry about how the process is going to do, how much result I'm going to get. Nothing. You don't have to worry about it. You have somebody backing you up all the time and looking over you. Literally, Ma. Whether I'm driving a long distance by myself, which I never did before, or doing anything, I see why I have to fear. He's with me. Why I just have to do the step and he's doing it, right?
Wow.
So that's what it is, Ma. Basically, that's all I can express, because it's a journey of. I'm not saying there is no difficulties or anything. Difficulties come,
absolutely,
but
actually, Ma Shivananda, Ma, actually, you being in the US, and when you're seeing how this, like how even for this level, even when you drive your car at that speed, you don't have a fear because you know he's there with you. Now, talking with this, how do you feel about when he is doing this such immense humanitarian effort for protecting people from COVID-19? What is your view on this? What is the experience on this?
See, Ma, the experience is, the mother, how the Prakriti, Mother, Parashakti, is, she has created this, and she is coming in his form to warn us and to tell us how to save ourselves. And all we have to, he says, you can go to your adinams, like in Kailasha right now, Adi Kailasha. For people in India, you go there. I have made a ship and I am there to save you. And in our logical mind, lot of times our logic comes in and says that, oh, this all is not real. But we are stuck in Maya, right? And we won't even realize the danger. And here is Parashakti Devi telling us what we should do. What is the next step we should take? And but I think the people are covered by Maya so much. Even Devi comes in her own form. We are not realizing it. See, the mind comes in. Like, I was thinking, even for me, like this much I have gone and learned about everything with Swamiji. Is still a lot more learning. It's only a little bit I have learned. But even in that, the mind comes in. See, like when I'm given a job to do, I feel like, oh my God, how am I going to do? The first thing is the mind. And then you have to overcome it. Mind or the master, Swamiji said. Mind always takes over. And Swamiji says mind is like Saguni. He will pose it as your friend, but he will destroy you. But that is how we are stuck in this ma. So for us to realize this, Devi is with us. The Maya has to be removed from us. So we only can pray to her to move that, because she only can take away the Maya also. I feel any time when I feel anything, I feel, oh God, please take that away from me. I just need to be in oneness with you, with the consciousness.
Actually, Shivananda, and just listening to your sharing, this makes me a little bit more curious to ask you this one question, because we have so many viewers. We have Sanjay Vekaria, Ayama, Asha Ramdat, all of whom are responding. They're saying what a lovely sharing. They're able to resonate with you so much as to how Swamiji is with each and every one of us. I just have one question that I would like to ask you. Given that since 2004 you have seen Swamiji, and actually the first ever temple that Swamiji built outside of India was in Ohio, which is where you are leading right now, and you have seen how the temple happened from the scratch. How Swamiji built the temple from the scratch. So I just have one question on this. Seeing from 2004, all the sacrifices that Swamiji did, all the tyaga, all the amount of responsibility Swamiji took, the hard work that Swamiji put in as an incarnation, not just removing us out of Maya, not just giving us a spiritual protection, but even at a very physical level, attending to our basic needs, like doing annadan or doing conducting homas, rituals, everything, like sitting and carving a deity. And even in Ohio, like the whole Prana Pratishtha, how Swamiji himself sat and performed the homa, everything. And so ever temple that Swamiji built outside of India was in Ohio, which is where you are leading right now, and you're seeing how the temple happened from the scratch.
Seema,
So I just have one question on this.
Yes.
From 2004, all the sacrifices that Swamiji did, all the tyaga, all the amount of responsibility Swamiji took, the hard work that Swamiji put in as an incarnation, not just removing us out of Maya, not just giving us a spiritual protection, but even at a very physical level, attending to our basic needs, like doing doing the, like, conducting homas, rituals, everything, like sitting and carving a deity. And even in Ohio, like whole Prana Pratishtha, how Swamiji himself sat and performed the homa, everything. And so, yes, sorry for the technical glitch. Looks like our audio broke up in between. Yes, Ma Shivananda, you can go ahead and now share, Ma.
Yes, Ma. The how even to bring the temple. See, every time he has to build it from.
So I just have one question on this. Yes. From 2004, all the sacrifices that
It's being repeated, I think, now.
Paramashiva.
We really apologize for this technical glitch. Hope our audio is clearer now. I think there was a loop, like whatever we said was repeating. We apologize for this technical glitch. Sorry, Ma Shivananda, really apologizing, Ma.
Looks like even our computer became curious to know and it kept repeating the question on loop. So yes, Ma, I think now you have to share with all of us and tell us your journey, and you can answer the question.
Yes, Ma. So even to bring the temple, Ma, it's not like a regular temple. You have to really bring for us to understand the basic understanding of deity, temple. He really taught us one by one how to even dress up the deities, how to clean up. I mean, our temples, you seen, they're all so clean, how deities are respected so much, and how we live with the deities. So even though that science he had to teach us, and he traveled so much, Ma, so much. I can't believe how much he traveled to really pick the people and make them understand and to be par. It sometimes, if I think back, Ma, how much patience he had to teach us all this. And we were like ignorant people. Even now we are ignorant, but how much he has to show us step by step. He came to our level, Ma, our level, to make us understand. We are stuck in Maya. He comes to our level and attend to this nitty-gritty things. Ours, my backache, my neck ache, these are all our problems, right? But he took care of that with the minute level and took us. I mean, I have traveled with him. Even everywhere he will teach us awareness. And he will, he'll say, I have to, how he guides us, and how he inspires us. Only totally his inspiration, Ma, that is keeping me going every time. I don't see anything as a problem. I only see as a solution. Everything. How he has his hard work. And anytime I say, I'm working a lot, and I feel, no, I'm not even working a tiny amount what Swamiji does. I'm like little ant, while he's like a big elephant or more, right? I'm not even doing that. And I'm sure all of you feel that. Where is our work? Nothing compared to him. And how he has to work with our stupid minds. Sorry to use the word, but it is, our mind is so powerful, and he has to bring us back sometime and attend to it, the silly things, and how he has raised us, each individual. Now he has millions of followers. At that time, he raised, handful of people. But look at now, He has millions of followers, and he's raising them. He's showing them that Ma, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. The audio is not audible.
Hope it's coming now, Ma. Hope the audio is coming now.
Yeah, now I can. Yeah.
Sorry, Ma. Actually, just like how so beautifully you are sharing, right? Like from even starting from a deity, how he had to teach, like how even that minute level, one by one at a time, training them, putting so much of hard work, doing sacrifice of everything else, just focus just for saving humanity. Today, this large ship that he has built, the conscious ship he has built, just to save the lives of so many, literally to save humanity. He is the only hope for humanity. How are you feeling about, I would just like to hear from you, Mom, because, you might be seeing like how this COVID came and disrupted the whole world. The whole world order has changed, and it has taken a toll over the world.
And also, I would like to add just one point. What you're asking, about this whole COVID, and one important point that Ma Shivananda made, I would like to highlight is she said Swamiji is not just taking care in a spiritual level, but also coming down to our level in where we exist, in what we do, teaching a simple awareness or attending to us the basic nitty-gritties and details. From that context, as Ma Tatsupriya is asking me about the COVID, how Swamiji has opened it up, I would also just like you to add how you see now you are sharing, right? How it is not just handful of people, it is millions of people that Swamiji is attending to. How do you see this whole, how Swamiji has opened up all the Kailasas for people, attending to the most basic needs, right from providing internet to people, for people to continue their work from wherever, whatever they are doing, continuing their work from home, living in Adi Kailasa and quarantining there. So
actually, what I was also going to ask is in similar lines, because you will be seeing a lot of deaths that has happened due to COVID. Literally the whole thing has changed. The people whom you would have interacted with earlier, suddenly you would hear the news, their father died, their mother died, or someone close to them died. And it's especially people living as an NRI, meaning and non-residential Indian outside, in the US you're living, and knowing about maybe the relatives or people who are in India. All these different situations that are happening. And at this time, when everybody else has closed their doors, every country is literally shut their doors for India, right? Yes. There's travel restrictions, there's no solution, literally. It is even, despite of the persecutions, Swamiji is the only one who has opened up all his own homes for saving humanity. Now, just like the point that you shared, how he comes down to our level to protect us, to save us. Would like to hear from you. How do you see this whole scenario that's happening right now? One side, the deaths that are happening, the other side, the avatar coming down to save us. He's opening the doors of his home. I would like to hear from you, Ma.
See, Ma, when you're living so far away from your families, and first thing is fear. Fear will come. And look at how Swamiji opened this Paramashiva reading. So he has done Kalabhairava reading for us. He has all the Nijavatara readings, Venkateshwara and everything. So now he is, as Parashakti, he is feeling us like that. I am there to protect, because she is the mother, Amma, even, I feel like she is my mother, she's protecting me. I don't have to worry about it. I just, that compassion when people are fear-stricken, how every day she gives darshan to people, and how people are, able to, I don't think any of his devotees have any fear, I feel, because they are protected by his womb, I would say, like he says, my devotees never perish. Not only his devotees, he's opened, how you all know, like last year itself, he said that prepare Adi Kailash for this.
Exactly.
All the farming and procurement of food, how much he, as only a mother can think about all that, to protect her children, how rice is procured, how vegetable is procured. He, to that nitty-gritty level of this human body, what it needs. I mean, we can all say, oh, it is pralaya, it can be done, what is this life, next life, you can take like all that, people, but not like that. Now we need to live, we need to get enlightenment in this life. And what are we here for in this human body? He makes us understand how it is important to see. When COVID was starting, Swami said, go by the law of the land. First thing he said, law of the land to all of us. Whatever they say, don't go outside. See, he's Parashakti. He can say, oh, I can protect you. You can all go anywhere. No, he told us to be following integrity, authenticity. Then you follow the law of the land. I am there to protect you. So he is, Nijavatar means he is really taking care of it every moment for the whole world where you are. Not everybody can travel. So he has established Kailashas all over, like Ohio, Kailasha, Los Angeles. And so wherever it is, you are going there, you can go there and get protection, Not only that, in Adi Kailasha, he has prepared 1 year before, thinking.
Exactly, ma. That's actually that's a beautiful point that you highlighted, because 1 year before itself, he started. Actually, if you remember, ma, the whole Vaidya Sarovar, as how they will 12 years before he started it, prepared the alchemy product. That's something like really amazing. And even now, see, okay, the whole, so many people attacked from that country, like so much persecution had happened, so many assassination attempts had happened. Yes, absolutely. Like just to saving humanity, despite of the persecution, despite of the attacks, he still saves people. He still opens his house, all his houses, his own homes.
Where he was driven out, it's from his own home. And he's giving protection there for everybody.
Exactly, ma. Exactly. And like as you said, no words can describe this divine compassion.
Parashakti herself is coming, and people who want to experience that should ask Amma. See, when I was asking the question to Amma, I was feeling, I don't know whether I'm wasting her time. I don't know, but I just asked just for a blessing for the temple events to go good. And such a big blessing, Ma. I was experiencing, oh my God, overwhelmed. The compassion of the mother. You, Swamiji will say as a master, if you take a few steps, I'll take 1,000 steps towards you. You take 2 steps towards me, I will take. So that's how I felt, Ma, that day.
Wow.
What do you do? He'll shower you with this. That is what the compassion of the Master. I can only get tears when I feel gratitude towards him. That's nothing else, Ma. Just so much gratitude I have for
Thank you so much.
Actually, it is so beautiful just listening to this. And we have so many viewers on YouTube who are commenting that how much they're able to connect to what you are sharing. We have even Sanjay Vekaria here who actually commented saying, like how you are saying, Krishna was available and how Krishna manifested himself to attend to 111 Gopika and each one. Like that's now somebody is making himself available to attend to all of us. And the millions of us that are connecting to him. It was such a beautiful sharing. Thank you so much, Ma Shivananda. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you so much for coming here to share your experience with Swamiji.
For giving this opportunity, Swamiji, and you guys for giving me this opportunity to share my beautiful sharing. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you, Ma. Nithyanandam.
Nithyananda.
Nithyanandam, sorry for the technical glitch. Nithyanandam, welcome to Nithyananda TV.
Nithyanandam, thank you so much for having me. It's such a blessing and an honor. Sure. I'm from the Midwest Sangha. I've been with Swamiji for about 4.5 years. I am, and it is all because of Swamiji. I've been blessed so abundantly by Swamiji that even words cannot describe.
That's wonderful, Ma. And can you share, I'm sorry, I missed what you had said. Can you share a little bit about your backgrounds and what you do?
Sure. So I work with lots of different people. I work with plant medicine. I consult with people about different ways of improving their health and wealth abundance and how to improve their life by taking a spiritual approach. I call myself a spiritual entrepreneur because I really enjoy dabbling in many different things as long as it's to benefit humanity. This is my mission, my goal, and it is all because of Swamiji, every single bit of it, every step.
That's beautiful.
Yes,
Ma. So how did you get connected to Swamiji, Ma?
Wow, that's like a love story. That's a beautiful love story. Swamiji just enriched my life so beautifully. I saw him on a YouTube video in November of 2016, and from there it was just incredible. I just had to meet him. I just had to be in Vidadi, and I made it happen the following year. And I was able to spend, a 21-day inner awakening with him and 2 other beautiful, incredibly beautiful people. And so many of them I still have the beautiful connections with, and we speak often, very often. Just such a beautiful, beautiful space. He uprooted me, uplifted me out of my life. I really strongly believe it was a very low vibrational space, and just knew that I needed to be in another space altogether. So uprooted and shifted me out, shook my life around. And in 1 year, the whole life exploded, and just blessings after blessings after blessings, and so many beautiful, powerful cognitions landing and guiding me to the next step. So each step, each layer was discovered right before him. Every time I talk about him, forgive me, I'm like a big baby. All I want to do is cry and tell him how much I love him.
That's beautiful, Ma. It's his love showering on you that is making you experience your love for him.
Yes. Yes, Ma.
Yes. So can you share a little bit about your experiences either with Swamiji or, like you've said, in the past 4 years, you've had such a huge breakthroughs in your life, and then, of course, with Devi Parashakti herself.
So with Devi Parashakti, I didn't have a direct or, a comment or a question answer. However, just like Ma Corina says, it's the same thing. Every time someone is blessed, someone's wishes or boons are fulfilled and we receive a tatastu, it's literally like a tatastu on my heart, on my soul, on my ever being. So I'm constantly being showered. I really don't even have words. It's constant. It's direct communication. Swamiji says, keep his murti in your room. His murti is in my room. And I am legitimately always talking to him, always expressing my deepest gratitude and all of my frustrations, my angers, my injustices that are happening in the world. And every day it's like the next gives great joy to people around me. I feel like the beautiful healing energy that he initiated me with Dinetra, it's like so incredibly powerful. And every day and every moment I get a chance to share, Shakti is sharing is so incredible, because you don't hear this on, media. You don't hear this in the world. You're not. Yeah. And if you do hear it, it's maybe in a very small mindset of people that are talking about this. Yes. But here we have a huge, massive community that is, effortlessly talking about it and being open and changing their life. You know, daily we are changing the way that we expand our life by doing mucus detox, by doing our panchakriyas, doing our meditations, listening to satsang, talking to each other, having vakya sadas between each other. You know, it's just is the ability to speak in the name of love and in the name of his mission. And he also has empowered my heart to become full, incredibly full, so I can share my love for people and humanity. He's given me a mindset, a business mindset, something I didn't even think I was ever going to do or had it in me to even think about doing, because I was just so stunted in growth. Although knew that, you know, I wanted to achieve all of these things, I just never thought that I had the will or the persistence or the super determinism to make this happen. You know, he gave me these words, these powerful cognitions that I can articulate and actually do. You know, that's the beauty. Yeah, that's really awesome. You are so awesome.
You're eloquently articulating his teachings and his blessings in your life, and clearly you're radiating everything he's been teaching. So it's really beautiful, Ma. So can you share your experience during this pandemic, how your life has been so different maybe from your friends or family who don't necessarily have Swamiji in their life right now, and you're still experiencing so many breakthroughs?
Sure. You know, I had a beautiful opportunity to work with a lot of different kinds of people of all different kinds of sicknesses and livelihoods. So I've had the opportunity to see what COVID has done to so many people. You know, it's destroying lives. It's creating a fear-based society. It's showing scarcity. But amongst all of that negative stuff, there's still this incredible, powerful space that says, we don't have to live like this anymore. You know, Swamiji has showed us that, you know, he has prepared us so many years in advance with the mindset, with the cognitions to surpass this negative vibration that's coming in super hard. So, you know, just definitely being able to share these beautiful cognitions with people, telling them, you know, not to be afraid, but to clean your body, to eat healthy, to not eat meat, you know, to do all of the things that he's asked us to do, make sure we have clean drinking water, preparing ourselves for the future, but living in the now. And that means being healthy and being cognitively aware and having super conscious breakthroughs and all of these things. So I have had this opportunity to share those powerful cognitions with others. And so when I do feel like, and I have been in the roots of the COVID experience, nobody has been affected within my circle or within my community that I know of, except patients that are outside of my own, you know, life. But to see what they might have been going through, to see what their lives were like before COVID, really gave them a perspective, like spending more time with your children, not having the grind of work every single day, realizing that, you know, we don't have to live like this. There's no, we can absolutely come beyond that, rise above that, and live and become spiritual. And spiritual doesn't mean necessarily, you know, to, you know, meditate and all this, is to be cognitively aware. And that's all of these beautiful deities that come to us to give us darshan, you know, these are reflections of us so we can take on the role, the phase of them. I just love Swamiji so much. And I love my Sangha so much, and I love Hinduism so much. I just feel like every single person on planet Earth should be experiencing this breakthrough in all facets of life.
That's beautiful, Ma. And what would you like to share with, you know, what would you share with them about having Swamiji in your life, especially during this global pandemic where people are living in so much of fear, how you've experienced, you know, a state beyond all of this and just having continuous breakthroughs?
So what I would say to someone just looking in, you know, it's so important to know that you are loved. You are loved beyond your even wildest imagination. You are so loved by Cosmos. You're so loved by the Divine Mother. I'm not really, going into a personal aspect of, just having a relationship with my own mother. Don't really have a relationship with my own mother. So there's many things that I think in my life that attributed to some of my incompletions, but for real, like for real, to be like just in her presence and watching her face is literally like your mom's hand on your head, or dabaing you on your lap, or it's like giving you so much love, like just for my own children too, always letting them know in the gentle, beautiful, graceful demeanor Swamiji speaks to us and Deva Parashakti speaks to us. I do and replicate the same thing in my own life. My children are a direct reflection of who I am. And so that in itself, I'm sharing everything that he's sharing with me, I'm sharing with my children, whether or not they're completely in. I'm invested 100%. And eventually it'll get to this phase that the people around me and then the new people that are coming in and people who are watching now, just know that you are intensely loved. You are immensely loved. Your heart is in the palm. I just learned this really cool cliche. It's in the lap of luxury. I feel like Swamiji, it's so beautiful. Just know that you're loved. You may not have a relationship with your family. You may not have a good job. You may not have the best health. You may not have, but if you just believe that you are loved, all of those things will change.
Absolutely. And can you share a little bit about, seeing this, how Swamiji's been showering love on every single being, not just devotees or disciples, but anyone. Devi has been blessing any being who's asking or wanting to receive the blessings and just opening herself up day in, day out, tirelessly attending to people, Swamiji's opened up his own homes, accepting everybody, giving them not just spiritual guidance and protection, but literally physical protection. How does this make you feel when you see his immense compassion?
It absolutely blows me away. And I posted it on Instagram all the time. I'm a social media junkie right now, and I'm all about sharing all of this knowledge. And when I saw and heard that Swamiji had opened up his adhinams to people, anybody for, triple quarantine, that's huge. That's not like little, that's massive. That's like what billionaires and millionaires should be doing right now. That's what our government should be doing right now. This is what people who have lots and lots of money, because people who don't have lots of money are still doing things like that too. We're still giving to people, but Swamiji, he's prepared this. He's been talking about this for like 3 years, I think. How to change, how to activate, be a part of the Sangha. When this happened, he would be prepared for it. And even though he's not even in India, that's what blows me away, right? Yes. He's doing all of this amazing saving. He's saving us. He's saving our lives. And to be able to protect the people of India, that really blows me away. They were stolen. Everything was stolen from them when COVID hit. Livelihood was stopped. Their jobs were stopped. They couldn't get any medical care. There's political issues. There's all sorts of things, but his womb is open.
Yes, exactly. It's the only place where humanity will be able to be guaranteed protection. And living in his breathing space and literally raising during this time of crisis rather than sinking into suffering like the rest of the world.
Yes. Imagine the kind of people are going to come out.
Exactly.
Right? This is the starting of his real ecosystem, I'm going to cry right now. Just thinking about it, like, that's just so incredible. How are you so incredible? Like, you're the most incredible, the most compassionate. You're opening up your home, your womb, your life, your being for us.
Exactly.
Who would do that except God?
Exactly, Mike. There's no words to really describe Swamiji's compassion, and he's literally here to save humanity. And if the sooner we realize that, the sooner that we will raise ourselves and the sooner that we will be able to receive his blessings.
Yes, Ma. And I believe, like all of us, the ones that are outside in the world, we are radiating him also very, very much.
Absolutely.
So, we are part of the womb. And so we want to nourish, and we will nourish each and every person that comes into our contact. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Exactly, Ma. And can you share a little bit more about, a specific experience that you might have had either in the past few months during this whole pandemic, or even since you've met Swamiji in the past 4 or 5 years, how, maybe a specific breakthrough or blessing or boon that Swamiji's given you?
Idea to an invention, from an invention to a materializing, from materializing to absolutely living out it. So this gradual experience, and the greatest part, it never took time. It took ambiance. And I tell people this all the time, like, things can happen when all of the elements are put together and everything is in the right space. It will just happen. So that's the cognition that he gave me. And these are continuous things that have happened. A new job, a new idea that raised out of that. Then now I resigned from my company that I used to work with for, literally 4 years. The moment that he came into my life, I was introduced to a new company. I had a new breakthrough. I was able to do so many of the things that I've always dreamed about doing. Not even just, honestly, I didn't even dream about some of these things. These were things that he just implanted in me, like, you can do this. Yeah, you can do this. Yeah, you can do this. 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 And it was just constant and deeper and deeper and deeper I've gone. And it may at some moments felt scary, but now it doesn't feel that way. Now I feel like, oh, I know when it's about to happen. So like my energy level is super high. I don't sleep for a little while. All of a sudden it's this beautiful breakthrough. So I just resigned from a beautiful company that I worked for, and created a beautiful ambiance based on Swamiji completely. And then went into another opportunity, just recently opened up my own business. I'm sharing living water with the world. That in itself is blowing me away, because I was introduced to this water through my Sangha. Just it's too much. It really is too much, too many blessings, one after the other. And
that's what life at Swamiji is like, though.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Like, no concept of time. Because for most people, like, what I've been through would take out the door 4 years.
And that's actually a really good point you've made, Ma. It's like, people think that manifesting what they want in their life takes time. People feel that, it may be in a few years, and they keep delaying. But with Swamiji in their life, with Swamiji continuously guiding and blessing and giving all the boons, it doesn't take any time. It will just manifest. It's just your decision to let him manifest through you.
That's absolutely correct, Ma. You said it perfectly.
And so you during this pandemic were able to complete a job that Swamiji had given you and start your own business at a time where most people are losing their jobs, losing their businesses. You are expanding during the pandemic.
Yes, expanding and expanding so much, including different aspects of expansion. So expanding, health wise, I've never been the healthiest in my life. And being able to utilize and create products that have the recommendations of what Swamiji uses, like ashwagandha, triphala, haritaki. These are creating just this whole environment has been. It's just so enriching, Ma. It's just too good. Like,
that's beautiful. You're able to create this spirituality, but even in your job, you're able to live this lifestyle and share it with the world.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I know that people think maybe I'm a little crazy sometimes, but crazy is good. Crazy is wild. Crazy is adventurous, creative, inspiring, enriching. All of those things. The ability to speak, the ability to share, the ability to share knowledge, and just to be, the leader that he is. If you didn't know him, you would still think he was an amazing leader.
Absolutely.
Right? Because his whole demeanor shares that. It radiates that. So I want to be in his vision always.
Absolutely. It's like even his enemies can't deny the type of leader he is and what kind of inspiration he puts in people.
It's true. It's so true.
And but you were saying you've had a lot of breakthroughs in your health. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Sure. From meat family, I definitely went vegetarian for a long time and then came back and lived in that low cognition, low vibrational space. Felt like, things were going wrong, things, my gaining weight, skin didn't look good, my hair wasn't growing. I ended up shaving my head because I wanted to donate it, but I couldn't donate it because it was unhealthy at one time. And so many things, like I had surgery on my knees because I had meniscus and ACL surgery. I had some, edema in my right ankle. I've had some back issues. I have twins that are going to be 18 in December. So, I had a tailbone that was broken from childbirth, like all of these things. But what he did for me in terms of my health is he gave me the right knowledge base to correct, even though I'm not really crazy about the taste, but I love it so much because I know the power of haritaki, right? My panchakriya, my enema, ability to correct all of these things in such a short period of time. Like, illness is not lifelong, but it is very curable, things that you can change. Yes, I'm sorry, Ma, I will go keep going.
No, that's okay. That's really beautiful, Ma, that, in every aspect of your life that he's given you blessings and boons and you've been able to just have so many breakthroughs. Thank you so much, Ma, for sharing. And we really appreciate you coming and joining us and sharing your experiences and blessings and boons with everybody.
Thank you very much, Ma. It's such a pleasure. I'm so honored, and I love Swamiji so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you.
Nithyananda.
All right. Thank you so much. Dear viewers, we will be taking a short break.
Nithyanandam. Welcome back, dear viewers. And just after this short break, and we all of us just listened to a very beautiful segment on how the avatar, at this time of the pandemic, has extended his own inner space, his own homes, as the Kailasas, just to protect people from the pandemic, from the pralaya. Now, during these times of pralaya, humanity at large has been going through a lot. The pralaya has taken a toll on humanity, be it mental health disorders, be it the economic downfall in so many countries, the economic crashdowns in so many countries, and be it people struggling with relationships, people struggling with health, mental health, physical health, people struggling with careers. In every way, it has affected the whole humanity at large, where thousands are in dire need of a solution. Now, at this time, during this whole pandemic, the whole pralaya, what humanity needs, what people need is just someone, some healing, someone to usher the future, someone to heal, and someone to show them their path, show them the solutions. Of course, who else but the Cosmic Mother can heal thousands of people, seeing her own children suffer, seeing so many people go through it. As the avatar, the supreme pontiff of Hinduism took it upon himself, manifesting the divine Cosmic Mother to attend to each and every one of us every day, tirelessly sitting and attending to people asking questions about their past, present, future, people asking guidances about their career, their paths, their lifestyle, their choices, people asking questions and blessings for their whole economic growth, people asking questions for them to be able to manifest desires, relationship in every Parash, manifesting pontiff of Hinduism and answering to thousands and thousands of lives, giving them boons, answering their prayers, blessing them with all the powerful cognitions, powers, and ultimately manifesting the enlightenment itself. In this segment, we are going to be having some of these blessed beings, the blessed souls, who had the greatest of blessing to have been directly interacted with Devi Parashakti herself, receiving boons from her. These sharings are going to be extremely special because the way Devi flows, fulfills into each and every of her child's life is just so profound. And today, joining with us, we have Manitya Parameshwara Ananda. Nithyananda Ma, if you could just unmute yourself.
Sorry. Yes, Nithyanandam.
Nithyananda Ma, so happy to have you here. And I can just see the joy and smile on your face that just lit up when you said how Devi addressed and directly answers to each and every being. So, yes. and especially for you, it was not something small. I'm sure everybody, when you share, will remember that blessing that Devi gave, how she accepted the offering to this day, keeping up a little bit about where you are from, how long you have known Swamiji. Would you just want to introduce yourself?
Yes. My name is Parameshwarananda. I'm from Los Angeles and I have been connected with Swamiji since 2007 when I met him first in Jain Center when he spoke on Jain Sutras, and I literally felt that he just came there to just get me to be enlightened by him. I didn't know, but I was just so magnified with his presence and started all experiencing so many healing and everything. I don't want to get into that because that will take another hour or more. But that was in 2007. So I am just connected to Swamiji since then. I started listening to him and just taking his programs, IAs, all IAs, everything. But I want to share about the experience that I had. I think it's a couple of months ago, where when there was an Enlightenment Day, and he was sharing in satsang only that beautifully how Devi chooses her own jewelries. Like when someone offers, she particularly chooses the jewelry and wears herself, and how auspicious it is. And that really touched me. And I was thinking of offering this to Swamiji, but that time I just decided and texted Ma Gnanatma Swami, and then we texted back and forth, and it just quickly, I was so ready to give my own memory that I kept holding. And it was from my past husband who passed away now many years ago. And I was holding into it, and then I said, what a nice way that I can offer this to Devi Parashakti, who is the ultimate, and so we did it, and it was so fast that everything happened, that just in like a week or so, I saw Swamiji wearing on his jatas, and I just started crying, seeing that on his jata, I mean, to Devi's jata, sorry, him and Devi all same. So, but then I wrote, well, actually, yeah, I wrote that, thank you, Devi, to accept this, and then Devi said that your husband is going to be liberated, and he is with me, and he is getting Sayujya Mukti, and you also. So, and I'll take care of you and whole family and all these blessings that Swamiji was showering. But I was really shocked that how he took care of my husband after all these years that he hasn't even met him. And to think of giving him liberation, I never even imagined that when I offered. So I'm so grateful to Swamiji to giving me this opportunity, and offering, I might accept my offering and liberate him, So that's my story. And every time I see Swamiji wear that, it just gives me goosebumps, and I feel so blessed by Devi to wear that. That's something that I have worn, that I never imagined that the incarnation, the Devi in Swamiji, that is accepting and wearing, so it's a beautiful feeling.
Actually, like as you were sharing, like Devi actually had blessed, saying that every time you see that the jewel, that diamond that you have offered, that when I wear it on my jatas, when it is just on my jatas, as like decorating my jatas as Shiromani, right? And
Shiromani,
when it is there,
yes.
When it is there on my jatas, you will remember how your husband is always in oneness with me. Oh my God, it's just, I don't know how to put it into words, because it's just too amazing.
And now he's not only wearing on jatas, but he's wearing on his neck also. And that's like double blessings. I said, oh my God, Devi is wearing, the thing that something I had which had no value, but now it is tremendous, unbelievable value to it, to see it. Yes, ma.
So true, Ma. Ma, actually,
Thank you.
you
Yes.
know, just to attain this space of liberation, the Sayujya Mukti that you said, where Devi herself accepted that, and you said so beautifully how you felt, something that you were wearing, something that you, after your husband left the body, there was something in you that was, you know, disturbed. There was some part in you which needed healing. And
Yes.
you very beautifully shared how you felt when Avatar himself accepted that small piece of gel and gave you that greatest of boon. People need to do siddhas and even yogis do penance for thousands of years together to attain that space of liberation. They do for hundreds of years to attain that Sayujya Mukti from with Devi Parashakti. Here, Swamiji is just so compassionate, sitting and attending to each and every one of us. Like you shared, Ma, to each and every viewer, I feel you should also share the perspective of how it helped you heal your inner space. You were sharing about how even after your husband's passing, there was some incompletion in your, something in you which was sitting.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
for a very long time, unattended component. And
Yes.
how did you experience Devi healing it, and how do you feel that it added, like that the difference that it made for you? You should share that perspective also. Yes, Ma, go ahead, please share.
Yeah. So my husband passed away actually very suddenly. It was a sudden death. So I didn't even know. Swami Devi did mention that it was untimely death, which I was so surprised to realize because he had a like severe heart attack. And that time I was not even here. And I was there and my kids were only 3 years old and 10 years old. So I had a lot of incompletion and so much that I was carrying inside. So that was lifted. Of course, it was lifted the day I met Swamiji and he started healing me, but I was carrying lot of suffering and pain. I had a lot of physical pain all these years. So slowly, it was all going away through Swamiji's grace and his programs that I took in Inner Awakening. But this was like a last completion that happened, knowing that where he is, and it was like a burden taken out totally from me, and total suffering that I still might have carried, the pain and suffering, all that, you know. So this was the like last thing I feel, and I slept like anything, you know, that night. And even just yesterday, Ma, I was talking to you and Jnanatma Swami, and I just slept so well yesterday. So he's every moment he's taking out. We have no idea how much we are carrying, not only from this birth, but the past births and all that. And without us telling, this avatar is taking all the karmas out from us. And I'm so grateful to Swamiji for that and healing me every moment. Thank you.
So beautiful. Actually, just want, if you could see, actually on NT right now, we are showing the photograph of Devi Parashakti with the diamond that you had offered and that she had accepted as her own Shiro Mani. And she was wearing that on her, she still continues to wear on her every single darshan that she gets.
And it is so beautiful to see how an avatar attends to each and every one of us in our personal levels. Just to reiterate to the viewers, Ma was so beautifully sharing that, you know, having her husband's sudden death, and it was not easy for her to cope up with 2 young children, just 3 and 10 years old each. And of course, I'm sure many of us understand what is the struggle to be a single mother and how you have to juggle with things and everything. And though you might move on, and though there might be something, and she was beautifully sharing also when she met Swamiji, she had so many powerful cognitions and that programs from Swamiji which helped heal a lot. But there was that one unfulfilled, there was one component unattended. Like, just to give a small analogy kind of thing, like how much ever, something you might go through, so many people talking might not solve it, but just when you go and lie down on your mother's lap or just go hug her, just that solid will all disappear. Same way, there was that one unfulfilled component, that one part of her, so beautifully which she shared when Swamiji attended to that, when Swamiji asked Devi Parashakti, just answer that one part, accepted this, that completely left her. That part completely got healed in her inner space. That was so beautiful, Ma, and such a profound sharing. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for sharing, Ma. I'm sure each and every viewer that are listening to will understand how, to what extent an avatar goes to heal each and every one of us, not just conflicts which is inside our inner space, and gives us such a peaceful life. Like you said, you are able to sleep so peacefully, so completely, and so happily. So That was so nice to hear, and thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything else that you want to share, that you would like to share at last?
No, thank you, Ma. I just hope that a whole world realizes who Swamiji is and what kind of avatar he is. As a Jain, I was in a family with a very strict Jain religion. How do you say, morals, right? My mother taught me. And then when I started listening to Swamiji, I said that I know more about Jainism now than that time that I was able to imbibe. And I tell all my Jain friends that Swamiji made me understand in how similar the enlightenment science is. And I hope that all the people who, no matter what religion you are from, Swamiji is there for everything, that to be enlightened, and that is the purpose of our life. So I just hope that that continues that journey, and for everybody we have to take Swamiji to every single person in the whole world that we can. So thank you, Ma, so much.
Thank you so much, Ma. It was so beautiful to hear. And yes, I really liked, I really could resonate and like the way you said, you understood Jainism. You were a Jain and you are a sincere practicing Jain, but you understood Jainism much more after coming to Swamiji more than before. So that was so beautiful. Thank you so much for taking your time to come and share, Ma.
We have Ma Atma Prema from Norway, who had a very interesting Devi Parashakti Akashic reading. And she is here to share her experience. She has been with us before, and she is coming back, joining us back again today to share her experience of Devi Parashakti Akashic reading. Nithyananda Ma Atma Prema.
Nithyananda Ma.
Nithyananda Ma, welcome back to Nithyananda TV. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me again. This will be the third time that I'm sharing since the Devi Parashakti Darshan on the 1st of this month, so 9 days ago.
Beautiful. And maybe to our viewers, you can give a brief of what Devi Parashakti revealed to you, what was her blessing to you, and then we can move into your share.
If I can read it, Ma, it will be easier for me to. Okay. Okay. So on the 1st of June, Devi Parashakti answered my question after many, many weeks. I had never had an answer before, despite having asked the questions. So when this happened, it was a very intense, moving moment for me. And this was the answer that Devi had given. Listen well to what is being told, daughter. You are one of the beings who came down from Kailasa to be a co-captain and serve the world to protect it from the terrible corona. You forgot the purpose of coming and diverted into another life. Such beings as you, who came from Kailasa, are also the reasons for this terrible pralaya. Forgetting the divine seva you need to do and leaving the work you are meant to do, you are doing some other work. Like you and other such beings who came from Kailasa have become the reason for this great drama. For 3 days, think about what I told. I will make you realize it in your dream, waking state, and consciousness. I will show you the truth. Once you see it, I will give prayaschitta. Go and come a virtuous one. So this answer to me was just, it was very intense, because the moment this came to me, this answer, it hit me right in the gut. I knew it was the truth the moment it was said. I felt it. And then I sat with it and I waited and I allowed the words to sink in. And it has taken these number of days to realize just the kind of the weight of the responsibility and what we've come here and the purpose with which we're supposed to be here.
And when Devi Parashakti said, just I will reveal things to you and I will tell you what you need to do. The way, when I heard it, the way I see it is, really reawakening to the true purpose of your life, realigning us back to the real purpose of our life, which is what will give us fulfillment. That is what we came to this planet Earth for. And when we drift away from the purpose, she gives us a strong wake-up call and realigns us back and tells us, you know what, this is what you came for. And when she shared this with you, Prema, what really went inside you? What was the experience that you had? And what was the realization that came from within you?
So, Ma, if I can go back to the beginning. So if I can share that my meeting with Swamiji, when I first met Swamiji, this happened in 2004. And I was in Oklahoma City at that time and in the US. And I had graduated from college. I was looking for a job. And this was about 17 years ago. I was 21 years old. And I just saw a flyer on my aunt's table. And she invited me to attend the temple in Oklahoma City. And I went. And the moment Swamiji stepped out of the car, not knowing anything about him from the past, I just knew that I knew this person, that my being automatically recognized something, and something shifted within me, which I didn't even understand at that time and that moment. And from then on, life just took on a different color. I had purpose. There was so much peace. There was so much joy. There was an intensity. And all these words are actually pale in comparison to what that feeling was like. And it was being around Swamiji and being initiated and having the darshans. Everything was just auspiciousness unfolding. Every second it was manifesting. And just being in that breathing space was auspiciousness. It was everything that unfolded. It felt like you were living not on earth, but on a different plane of existence. So each time leaving that space in his physical presence was so unbearable. And it was very hard because you felt like, okay, I want to be around the master. I want to be around the guru in his physical presence all the time. But at the time, a few years later, I moved back to the place I was born and grew up in, which was in Dubai, in the Middle East. And I would often go to Adi Kailash and, attend various programs and get the teachings and understandings and being in that breathing space. And every time I had to leave, it was like this separation was so hard. It was so unbearable to leave that space of Adi Kailash, but also knowing that everything that I had imbibed from the teachings, it was important for me to go out and go back and do that seva and just share with the people who were in the Sangha in Dubai at the time. And all they wanted to do was, listen to the stories and the sharings and just taste the joy and the bliss and, and enriching was just, it came with so much ease. It was just a natural process that all of us just kept doing. So at the time, I didn't even realize what was happening, but I took up the responsibility of the Sangha in the Middle East and in Dubai specifically. And at the time I was about 24 and the youngest coordinator for the mission at that time. And wow. I can't say I can't say that I knew anything about Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma. I grew up in Dubai, a Middle Eastern country. The most we had exposure was when we would visit India to visit our family and go to temples. But beyond that, there was not much understanding. So I didn't have any depth of knowledge around Vedas or Shastras, and I couldn't chant. It was not like I could chant and everyone was impressed or anything like that. There was no prior knowledge or experience before meeting Swamiji. So all that I came back to share every time after those visits to Adi Kailash was just sweet, simple stories that was just shared from intense bhakti, that devotion, that sweet devotion that comes through you just by being, just being in that oneness with Swamiji. And every time it was like a cloud that kept me floating through everything that I encountered in life, whether it was through work, through relationships, through the Sangha, everything. It was just such a beautiful flow. And just having that simple devotion, that simple trust, and just taking that simple action, the response was so incredible. The satsang grew, the Sangha grew. And the satsangs that we were hosting in devotees' homes, every week we would have satsangs that would keep moving from different devotees' homes because everyone wanted to host it. And we could not no longer, and many of the people had not even met Swamiji. And there weren't too many things happening on social media at that time, unlike today. And people would just come because that bhakti was felt. And we had to form a center legally and officially. And in that center, we would have our Nitya Yoga, we would have our satsangs, we would have our youth group meetings, and eventually a Kalpataru happened in January of 2010. And this was just created by a handful of people who felt that deep connection to Swamiji. So why I'm saying all this, Ma, is because kind of to give a little bit of context and background to what has happened, where I've come from, and what happened in between. So during this time, this was 6 years with Swamiji, being so closely associated, there were a lot of questions. And I was 21 when I met Swamiji. And so there were a lot of questions from family. There were doubts raised, why do you need to have a guru? You are too young. When will you get married? You're getting older. So there was all this pressure from the society and to my parents specifically. And it was hard to be able to convey to them just what having a guru and having Swamiji in our life was like. I mean, the countless blessings, the healings that had happened, it was too many to share. And all we did at that time was just continued on and just turned, deaf ears to what they were saying. Because I knew the person I had become, and the shift that had happened in me was so obvious to my family and then to my friends, and people were drawn to that and wanted to know who it was that I followed that kept me so much at peace and so centered with such unwavering faith despite any sort of ups and downs one experiences in life, whether it's through job or relationships. They could just see that it was with such ease that I was flowing through life, and I felt it. And I felt Swamiji's presence with me all the time. So what happened after all of this was that in June of 2009, a group of core devotees from Dubai, the Dubai Sangha, we all attended the Inner Awakening program. And we attended it together. It was such a beautiful 21 days. And then some of us extended our stay because we weren't ready to leave. And it was that time that Swamiji, after much of us asking and hoping and praying, Swamiji announced that there would be plans to come to Dubai and we could host the Kalpataru program for about 2 days. It was the plan for Swamiji and some of the senior Swamis to come and come to Dubai. So immediately after we returned to Dubai, work was underway. We had to organize, we had to plan, we had to make so many arrangements. We had to raise donations and manage an entire program, and we didn't know how many people would come. We were just a handful of us. I mean, it was satsangs were there, but we weren't sure how many people would actually attend. And so with all of this, we just surrendered to that moment and said, with absolute trust and devotion, we said, it'll happen. Swamiji has said it, now it just has to happen. We're just part of that process. And then people started registering, donations started coming in, and it all just unfolded so beautifully. That surrender and that whole process was just, we could see the divine play in all of that. So, receiving Swamiji, hosting the Kalpataru, having so many senior Swamis in attendance was really literally a dream, and something we never thought could happen in a place like Dubai, and especially in the Middle East. So it was a successful program. Over 500 people attended from different parts of the Middle East, and riding on this high of the experience, some of us were planning on attending the Kumbh Mela, which is the biggest religious gathering, and we were thinking, what better way is there to experience a spiritual gathering like this than with one's own beloved Guru. So this is now all the background, and leading up to then what happened next was, I was to take a flight on the 3rd of March in 2010 and head to Bangalore and come to Adi Kailash and with a group of people, get together and then go to Kumbh Mela with Swamiji. And just before taking the flight, I got a call from one of the devotees in Dubai, and they said that there has been some news that's broken out, and I think you should be aware of it because you might consider not taking the flight and not going to India. So I heard what he had to say. I understood that there was what was happening, but I didn't pay attention to it. I said, no, this is decided. I'm going to go. So I arrive the morning of March 3rd, and now India it's early morning, so a lot of India hasn't woken up to the news that has just come out on TV in India. And as I arrived to Adi Kailash, that feeling of excitement and, building that, okay, I'm back here, I'm back home. And I saw some people outside the campus and they looked like reporters. So, okay, I didn't think much of it. And I thought, okay, maybe this is related to whatever the news is. So go into the campus and find that everything is very silent. Everything is so eerily silent, actually. Just couldn't see anyone. I passed a devotee on the way who was responsible for some of the temple activities, and I asked him, he was a devotee in Dubai who moved with his wife to be at the temple and take care, and he said the temple wasn't open. So I thought that was quite strange, but I thought, okay, let me go, and maybe it's still too early, and let me go and register at the admin office and then just do all the formalities around, checking in and everything. So then we congregated, for a few of the foreigners and everyone who had arrived, got together in the food hall, and then we were hearing bits and pieces of information, and we weren't sure what was happening, but something was going on. But we were kept safe, and we were told to be in a secured location, and in time we would be given some more information. And later on, we heard that the Gurukul had been set on fire by a mob of people. And so
that was the exact same day, Prema, just to let all of viewers know, that was the day when the religious persecution on the Supreme Court of Hinduism just 24 hours before had come out, and Swamiji was going through a series of assassination attempts, and it was the residents of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, being burnt.
along with Gurukul and along with so many other places, with supreme point of being locked inside their own monastery, and that was being light telecasted. And all this was happening, and the people who were there, I was there in the Adinam on that day, and none of us were allowed to, go to protect Swamiji or protect any other parts of the place. And all of us were cordoned off completely. And there was a complete police who were actually protecting the anti-Hindu elements to destroy the monastery, and they were not allowing us to go stop or do anything. And that's exactly when I think you were also there, happened to be there in the monastery at that same time. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, Ma. And at the time, we didn't know what was happening, but of course, much later on, I understood. But at this moment in time, it was very disconcerting, but it was ensured that we were all kept safe. All of our, we were kept in a place that nobody could reach us, and we felt secure. We didn't feel threatened by any way, but we knew something big was happening. So that night, two devotees from the city came and, whisked us away, actually, from the campus, saying that it's getting out of control. There's a lot of people, and we need to take you back into the city and be safe. Your parents, are worried, and all of that. So we were put into a car. We were asked to remove any sort of anything related to Swamiji. We were asked to remove the mala, the bracelet, everything that was part of us. We had to just kind of remove and keep aside, so that in case we were stopped along the way, that we were not harassed or bothered. So we get into the city, and all the news channels are incessantly airing a video over and over and over. And it was just, I'd never seen anything like that being done with such consistency. It was as if that was all every news channel could do and report on. So it had the effect of visually affecting people, and I decided at my parents' insistence that I should return to Dubai and not remain in India longer. And I did that, and then I felt confused, and I didn't speak to anybody, and I neither tried to reach out to the administrators of the Adinam, Adi Kailash, nor did anyone contact me, because so much was happening at the time, and they were all trying to keep themselves protected as well. And so I kept a low profile for months, and this was right after a hugely successful Kalpataru program that had happened in January of that, just 2 months before. I mean, literally it was January, and now we're talking about March, and people are expecting to hear information, and now this has happened. So I didn't know.
I just wanted to add to you, Mahatma, because I was there in the monastery at that time, and we were just trying to ensure Swamiji's life was safe. Swamiji was going through a series of assassination attempts, and over a span of about from the 2nd of March till 21st of April, just in that 1 month and 1.5 months, his car was followed everywhere. Swamiji was at least had about, I think, more than 70 assassination attempts just in a month and a half. Every place there were people who were ready to, burn him alive, ready to kill him, ready to, do all sorts of things. And it was all, and with the police protection. Means the people who came to attack, they came with police protection for them. So there is no way we could do anything. So the whole administration at that time was focused on somehow we want to just somehow ensure Swamiji's life is safe. That was what was there for us. We just wanted Swamiji to be alive for what he was doing to humanity and what he has done to humanity and what he has done to all of us. That was what was going on, and we really couldn't, expect this level of a multi-pronged attack from every side. And I remember on the 3rd of March, there was an inquiry from 11 government departments trying to, shut down the bank, trying to shut down the monastery, trying to shut down the Gurukul, trying to shut down the temple, trying to, get all of us out. I was there, and we were literally forced to leave. They said, no, everything is closing. You have to leave. All the Adinavasis, we were forced to leave. The bank accounts were getting frozen. Swamiji was being attacked everywhere, every step of the way. And that was what was going on in India at the time, just to let you know, and for all our viewers also, at that moment, there's this continuous airing of this false news, so much of hate speech, and everywhere people are, barging into the monasteries and temples and breaking the deities and abusing sexually, like female monks getting sexually abused, and everywhere it was just completely out of hands. Even if we have had the best of the administration, it was just impossible to handle the attack that was happening from all directions on a small group of people who are trying to manage, and that most priority at the time was we wanted Swamiji's body to be safe.
Yeah. Yes, Ma. And what shocked me the most, and I didn't even think in too deeply about it, but what hit me on the surface was that it wasn't just in India, but everywhere. It was news channels in Dubai, in the Middle East, and everywhere. It seemed as if it was, now looking back, what a coordinated attack, that it had all happened in this particular way and in such a huge in such a way that really affected everybody. And I know that so many people, I mean, the monastery was affected, people were trying to figure it all out, and it was a very disconcerting time. And newspapers in Dubai were calling me for a statement. I was contacted by the person implanted in the Sangha, responsible for bringing this whole thing in this whole thing out, was just was started trying to contact me and seeking some sort of support or monetary help, and insinuating that his life was in danger. And so the media contacted me in Dubai, then this person who was implanted in the Sangha was contacting me, and then I was getting questions about whether I was involved in questions about black magic, and I would end those conversations, and I retreated further and further away from the Sangha, and even the Sangha in Dubai, I just I was confused, didn't know what was happening, and just decided I would just be quiet and silent, and somehow felt that fearful. And I thought, because I was single, I was unmarried, I may be a target for attacks next. And I couldn't afford to have my parents or my family in any way affected. So I just kept away. So for 1 year, it was like, I didn't even want to see the news, and I didn't even want to look at what was happening. I didn't follow anything that was going on, or all the attacks that were happening on Swamiji, on the Sangha, on the entire monastery, and what they were trying to do. And a year later, it was like almost like a post-traumatic stress response for me, 1 year away from my guru, who I had been so closely connected with for 6 years. And I just and the cognition that I had at the time was that I felt abandoned. I felt, I dropped everything, and I just felt like, okay, Swamiji's gone, I'm feeling abandoned. And in turn, I abandoned the Sangha and Swamiji, so I just thought, okay, now this is what life is, and let me just do what everyone in society expects one to do, which is continue having your job, live your comfortable lifestyle. And, I was encouraged to settle down, get married, and my life just took a 180 from there on. It went in a completely different direction. And I didn't realize that action, how much damage I was doing to myself, because I had a responsibility not just to the Sangha in Dubai and to Swamiji, but to Sanatana Dharma, which in hindsight I can see now. And I just thought, I allowed myself to override my judgment, and logic took over, and logic took over, and I just denied all the experiences I'd had until then, experiences that defied logic. And all the love, all the compassion, all the protection, all the immeasurable growth, the healing, everything that I'd had experienced was just compartmentalized and put aside. And I didn't revisit it for 10 years, and I didn't at that moment I didn't stand for the principles. I didn't stand with conviction, that simple devotion, that simple trust. I just abandoned it and buried it, and I felt that the action at that moment in time, I didn't feel complete with it, because I did feel a responsibility towards the Middle Eastern Sangha. I had the opportunity to help the Sangha ride the wave of uncertainty till things became clearer, till the dust settled and we actually could find out what the truth was. And I didn't, so my reaction and then the lack of any action somewhat indicated my acceptance of this false narrative that was being spun around Swamiji and the Sangha. And it wasn't until March 2020, which is just last year, did I really understand or realize the magnitude of the persecution and the magnitude of the attacks on Swamiji, and how repeatedly the Sangha was under this attack and false allegations. And inside me, when I found all of this out, and now all of 10 years, I've kept an information blackout. And I didn't know any of this. And when I heard it, it unfurled in me a need to want to protect and stand, and just this feeling of wanting to be like a warrior. And what I had not done in those 10 years, I was feeling like, this is what I need to do now. So the years that I was away, it's from the Sangha and Swamiji, those 10 years, I had repeated visions of Swamiji. And in those visions, I would go and ask, why did this happen? And each time it was the same thing. And in that, Swamiji would say, come and see me. So I ignored those visions for several years. And then in 2017, right before I had my son, I had the vision of the banyan tree calling me. And then I knew that somehow I needed to return and be in the presence of the banyan tree. So then we had the opportunity. It unfolded in a way that was, again, defied logic. We happened to come to India after many, many years of being away. And one of the devotees who had been initiated into third eye powers did a body scan for me. And at that moment, the message to me that she got was, come and see me. There will be no hangover of the past. And those were the words exactly that I'd had in my visions all those years before. And the moment those words were said, I knew this was the time. And when they suggested that, oh, why don't we go to Adi Kailash? My immediate response was yes. And then immediately the rest of my family, my parents, my sister, my brother-in-law, all decided that we would go. And what stood out to me in all of this is that in these 10 years that I felt like I had separated, Swamiji was there every step of the way. He was trying to reach me through the visions that I had, any experiences that I'd had through my life in those 10 years that were challenging. There was a strength within me that I didn't realize I had. And looking back, I know that strength was Swamiji, and despite me pulling away, that umbilical cord connection that you have with the Guru, that spiritual umbilical cord, as far as you may go, that will always remain connected. And so now I can see in all those moments in those 10 years, just how Swamiji played such a role in my life to ensure that I didn't fall. So those trying times, there was strength in all those challenges. I was guided, I was protected. And I felt like I didn't, like, Swamiji will never make one feel guilty or anything like that. So it wasn't that. I felt like there was a responsibility I had towards the Middle Eastern Sangha. I didn't stand for that. But now is the time, the opportunity has been given back to me that I can stand for it. And when I was given my spiritual name in 2004, it was already a strong indication. Nitya Atma Prema, which is the spiritual name initiated to me in 2004, was an indication of my purpose. And this is where, when I was living my purpose, is when I felt the most alive. And when I strayed far away from the Guru, the Sangha, and altered my path, there was so much incompletion. And I would often share with members of my family that I didn't feel like I had my purpose. And the only time I ever felt I had purpose was when I was doing work with and seva for Swamiji. And now thinking that the life that I'm living, maybe I'll find that purpose through a job, a different kind of project, or through marriage, or through having children, but still there was something inside that was just unfulfilled. And the moment we stepped back into Adi Kailash in January of 2010, those 10 years just melted away. It felt like we were coming home, and that just knowing that it was with the Guru's grace that we had that opportunity to come back. And no matter how far I went away, the Guru's hand was just always there, guiding, protecting, and ensuring that I have this second chance. And so when Devi Ma gave the message and said the reason for the pralaya is due to forgetting the purpose and diverting from the work I was meant to do, I felt it deeply. And although 10 years may have passed, and the divine grace has pulled me back, and it's offering me a second chance. And what's important now is taking up that responsibility and standing up and actually living the purpose and aligning with that cosmic will now. So it's not about regret. It's not about feeling guilty. It's about coming to alignment and finding that completion and moving forward in alignment with that purpose, with powerfulness. And the responsibility is large. And I never want to take that for granted, because I know what anti-elements have been working now tirelessly for 10 years, incessantly attacking Sanatana Dharma, Swamiji, the Sangha, the entire, and the question is why? Why is this constant attack for 10 years? And I never want to let somebody else determine the purpose of my life, because the purpose is clear. And already those 10 years showed me just how much I had missed and how deeply unfulfilled I felt. And this is the chance to regain that and align myself. And Devi Ma strongly revealed what my soul felt. And now to live out that purpose is the ultimate gift that has happened with the Guru's grace. So this is a long sharing, Ma, but I wanted to give context.
This is a much needed sharing, because you know what, it's not just you. There are maybe hundreds of devotees that are out there who became victim of the persecution, not just in terms of a direct attack, but victims of a persecution where the right information was not given. The victims of the attack in the sense where, the people whose life also got impacted because of the religious persecution and attack on Swamiji. And it's important that when you realize, it took you 10 years to realize, and maybe there are so many that are still out there and who still have not realized, and who are listening to your sharing and who realize, oh God, this is exactly what I felt as well. One side you have the wealth of experiences with Swamiji, which is our own experience. We know it, our inner being knows it, our consciousness knows it. We have felt it, we know Swamiji is. And every single devotee who has seen Swamiji, who has been touched by Swamiji, has that wealth of experiences. But what happens sometimes we may call it delusion, or we may call it whatever name we want, but that wealth of experiences, like you said, gets compartmentalized, and we get consumed by something else that's out there. And it takes us a while for us to spring back and realize, oh God, these were my experiences with Swamiji, and I had them. I know who Swamiji is, and I know what this is. And it wakes us